You know, it was just another morning in that sprawling brownstone up in Manhattan's Upper East Side, the kind of place where money talks louder than people do, and I, Maria Lopez, had been scrubbing floors there for 3 years without anyone really noticing until that day when everything flipped upside down. I'd shown up early, like always, and heard this heartbreaking wail echoing from upstairs. Little Tommy, the boss's 1.5-year-old kid, left all alone in his room, soaked and filthy because the nanny had bolted overnight with just a scribbled note saying she was done. No warning, no nothing. My heart just shattered seeing him like they'd faced, exhausted from crying in without thinking twice. I scooped him up, calmed him down with a soft hum, and carried him to the kitchen to improvise a bath in the big stainless sink, testing the water with my elbow like I'd done for neighborhood kids back in Queens, where I grew up helping single moms who worked double shifts. But then bam, the front door swings open, and there's James Harrington, the big shot investor dad, back early from some DC deal that fell through, staring at me like I'd committed a felony, his voice booming. "What the hell is this? You're bathing my son in the kitchen sink like he's some stray?" I nearly dropped Tommy right there, my hands shaking as I clutched him closer, stammering, "Mr. James, I can't explain the nanny left him like this. Hours probably. He was suffering. But he cuts me off, face twisted in fury. Who gave you permission? You're the maid, not his mother." And Tommy, poor thing, starts wailing again at the raised voices, clinging to my wet apron until I rocked him gently, whispering comforts, and he quiets instantly. Something James notices, his eyes narrowing in confusion, like he'd never seen his own kid settle so fast. That's when Helen, the iron-fisted housekeeper who'd been running the place for a decade like her personal fiefdom, bursts in, all prim in her starched uniform, gasping in mock horror. "Mr. James, thank goodness you're here. This girl's out of line. I told her to stick to mopping." She shot me that superior glare she'd perfected, the one that said I was dirt under her shoe. Probably because deep down she resented how Tommy always lit up around me during my quick cleanups near his room, while she couldn't connect with him no matter how organized her schedules were. James demands answers, grabbing the nanny's note, his frustration building as Helen stumbles over her story claiming she'd called an agency for a replacement but got the dates mixed up, when really, I'd seen her slip out early for her weekly spa gossip session, leaving the kid unattended because, in her world, rules trumped empathy, and admitting a slip-up would crack her perfect facade. I couldn't stay quiet anymore, my voice steadying as I said, "Helen, you weren't even here when I arrived at 7, and Tommy was already in agony if you checked on him instead of prioritizing your errands. This wouldn't have happened." And she snaps back, red-faced. "Mind your place, Maria. You're just the help cleaning, not coddling the air." The air got thick then, James pacing, piecing it together how Helen's control-freak ways had chased off 8 nannies in 2 years, criticizing every move until they quit, leaving Tommy insecure, crying endlessly because no one stuck around long enough to love him, not even James, buried in boardrooms since his wife died in childbirth. He turns to me, softer now, asking why Tommy trusted me so much, and I open up hesitant at first about losing custody of my own daughter, Lily, 2 years back when her deadbeat dad vanished, and I couldn't afford our tiny Bronx apartment on odd jobs. The social workers deciding love wasn't enough without stability, shipping her to a foster family in Jersey where she's thriving, but I'm left aching every night. Caring for kids isn't about diplomas, I told him, tears welling. It's about being there, really there, and Tommy senses that, unlike the pros who treat him like a checklist. James goes quiet, watching Tommy play with my buttons, relaxed in my arms, and I see it hit him, the envy, the regret that his son bonded more with the invisible maid than his own blood, all because he delegated fatherhood to avoid the pain of his loss. Things escalated when James grilled Helen harder, her excuses crumbling like cheap plaster. I was maintaining standards, sir, not babysitting, and he fires back. Standards that let my boy suffer? That's not management, that's neglect. She wilts, admitting her jealousy over my natural ease with Tommy, how it bruised her ego after years of loyal service without the family warmth she secretly craved, her rigidity born from a lifetime of climbing from nothing, fearing chaos without control. But James, eyes on Tommy giggling now, shifts gears unexpectedly. turning to me with this vulnerable look I'd never seen on a man like him, saying, "Maria, you've shown more heart today than anyone I've paid fortunes to. Would you consider being Tommy's full-time caregiver? I'd cover your unfinished early childhood education degree too. Make you part of this." My breath caught fear rushing in. The terror of loving another child only to lose him like Lily, but seeing Tommy reach for both of us, calling me Mama Ree in his babble, melted that wall. I nodded, whispering, "I'd love him like my own, James, if you're sure." From there, it all transformed. Helen, humbled, started collaborating instead of commanding, even asking for tips on kid stuff, her defenses cracking as we shared a family dinner that night. Tommy at the center, babbling family, like he knew we'd rebuilt something broken. James learned to be present, ditching calls for playtime in the garden, discovering his son's joy in simple things, while I got my shot at motherhood again, funding my dreams without the old struggles. But looking back, it makes you wonder if one act of kindness can rewrite lives. Why do we build walls around roles and hearts? Was I right to risk the attachment, or should folks like me stay in our lanes? Tell me in the comments, what would you do in my shoes? Like if this hit home, subscribe for more real-life turns like this, and share your own stories. Let's chat about love, loss, and second chances.